Hi everyone, so I realized something I've not actually talked about on the channel yet is an item tier list for PokeRogue. This video is going to be doing it based on Classic Mode. I probably won't make an Endless one because I know Endless is meant to be getting a huge rework, so I feel like it would just be pointless. I also don't really play Endless anymore, so if you want to learn about Endless items, maybe watch another video. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about what I think are the best items for Classic Mode in PokeRogue. Items, honestly, can make or break a run, and I'm going to explain why. It's going to be a huge learning session, so if you wanna learn, lock in. For my regular viewers that are here to be like, Callum, all you do is upload roguelike content anymore. I'm working on something. Okay, trust me, it's not rogue related. I'm working on something. It's gonna be a long video. I just wanted to do something a bit easier to, pass the time. So coming over here to my tier list, I've got 5 categories because I don't think there's any negative items really, so they're all positive. Always pick this up. Great. Well, I should probably say great item, good item, doesn't hurt, and situational. Situational, honestly, could like items in the situational tier, because it's situational, could always be like better than A tier items or even S tier items. It's situational depending on your run, but I'll discuss them when we get to them. So the first thing here is an ability patch, which that's not even like in the game, so I'm gonna put that down here. Hopefully there's no items missing from this tier list. Well, there will be, but we'll get to that. Like for example, Ogerpon's masks aren't here, but Ogerpon's mask would be situational. Do you have an Ogerpon? If yes, then the mask will at some point probably show up during your run. It'll be random whichever one you get. I'll discuss that soon. So the first one is the amulet coin. In PokeRogue, the amulet coin basically just gives you more money from like picking up nuggets, big nuggets, and also winning battles. So I think in classic mode, this is always like, you always pick this up. There's no reason not to. Money is a very important resource. The only reason you would not pick up the amulet coin is if you find something even better, and you can only pick one. All right, next up is an apricot berry. I'll be honest, I don't really know what all the berries do off my top of my head. That's like one of the few things I don't know well in Pokemon. Raises the holder's special defense by 1 stage when the HP is dropped to 1/4 of its health or below. Honestly, if there's like no other items, I would say the apricot berry doesn't hurt to pick up. I think the doesn't hurt tier will definitely be a big if nothing else, pick it up. It doesn't hurt to have. Worst case scenario, you get a little bit of speed F and it helps you live a hit. If there's absolutely no other item, pick it up, why not? Next up is the berry pouch. The berry pouch makes it so this item stacks. I think it's stacked. I can't remember how much too. It's maybe like 90% or something. It used to be like 100% is stacked too, but basically it makes it so there's a chance that your berries won't get used up. I mean, me personally, I'm not like the biggest berry user unless like I have a pickup Pokemon with me, but pickup Pokemon definitely got berries in general definitely got nerfed, because I mean you can only hold like 2 or 3 berries on a Pokemon when it used to be like 10. So I would personally say it's a great item. Honestly, you're probably always going to pick this up unless there's something better. I would say it's a great item. There's no reason not to pick it up, right? Unless there's something better. But I would say it's just a great item, especially because it'll be like a I can't remember the percentages, and there's like no resource I have outside of just playing the game to know the percentages off the top of my head. But a chance to not have your berry be used up, it's great. It's a good item. Big mushroom, it's situational. Whenever you catch a new Pokemon in the later stages, you're gonna be like fiending for big mushrooms just so you can teach them a usable moveset. But it doesn't change the fact, they're great items. Doesn't change the fact that it's situational. If you start your run with 6 Pokemon and they all have perfect movesets, you're not gonna need big mushrooms. Big nugget, I would say always pick these up. I prioritize money a lot in PokeRogue. Same goes for the nugget, honestly. I think money is huge. The only reason you maybe wouldn't always pick these up is if you are running like, I don't know, Goldengo, good as gold. I think he gets contrary still as a passive, and you're just going crazy with that, and you're like, I don't care about money. But I mean, I would still just always pick it up, because at the end of your run, having money to re-roll and like get items that you need is very helpful. I always like try to aim to have like 100k by the time I've beaten the champion, and I pretty much always do, because I'm just constantly grabbing money. Now we have the candy jar. Candy jar, I would say it's a great item. I wouldn't always pick it up, because like say it's like late game and like my Pokemon only need like 20 more levels or whatever. I don't need the candy jar at this point, but if you get it early on, it can be helpful. This item can be stacked as many times as you want. Obviously, there's a limit to how much you're gonna be able to stack it in classic mode, but yeah, I believe it goes up to 99 for stacking, which is crazy. Never gonna get that in classic mode though. So then there's the egg voucher. So the way I see the egg vouchers, this is a bit of an older tier list because there is actually another egg voucher in here. I would say for the normal egg voucher, I would say it's a great item. I would pick it up most of the time. The only reason I wouldn't pick it up is if these items up here are on the table. The egg voucher gives you 1 egg pull pretty much. This egg voucher gives you 5. And the way I see egg vouchers, I see them as like floors traveled. And in endless mode, at least, if you go through 50 floors and you beat the Paradox Pokemon, you get a 5 egg voucher. So the way I see it is an egg voucher is equivalent, 5 egg pulls is worth 50 floors. So for this one that gives you 5 eggs, I would always pick this up, even if there's like an item that might help my run a decent amount. Like I've had situations where there's like vitamins or egg vouchers. I've chosen the egg voucher because I see it as it's 50 floors, it's 5 more egg pulls. You don't have to see it like that. If you'd rather just win your current run and pick up a calcium and raise your special attack, go for it. But personally, I see it as it's 50 floors traveled, and that's saving me 50 floors of traveling in endless. So I would always pick it up personally. I'd probably like put it above the nuggets and stuff. I'll probably put it, I mean, I don't know if I'd put it above an amulet. Yeah, I probably would, honestly. No, I wouldn't. I don't know. This is a hard one. But yeah, most of the time I'm always picking up the egg voucher. And like I said, this tier list doesn't have it, but there is a purple one that gives you 10 eggs. That one, of course, gets the same thing. That's, in my opinion, 100 floors. Now we have X items. I think we'll save those for all at the same time. Let's talk about the DNA splicers. The DNA splicers, of course, go into situational. They, in my opinion, more often than not, aren't great items. Most of the time, unless you're like actively go into a run trying to fuse Pokemon, I think they're just a bit too situational most of the time. So more often than not, I won't use them. But in my Mono Fire run that I uploaded recently, if you want to check that out, I started with Cyndaquil, and I also had, I forgot the name of the Pokemon, Capsicid. And I ended up getting the DNA splicers like within the first 10 floors, and I realized my Cyndaquil has the passive ability Drought. Capsicid has Chlorophyll. If I fuse them together, I will get like a Stab, Solar Beam, Drought, Chlorophyll Pokemon immediately. I don't have to like, it's not like they're 2 separate Pokemon. It's basically like just making this monster. And their stats weren't too different to where it would like ruin the Pokemon. So I fused those 2 together and they absolutely stomped the game. But situations like that are few and far between for me. It's a situational item. An item like this could be S tier, it could be C tier, could be D tier, could be F tier. It just depends on the situation. A lot of people will come into my streams and I'm like, hey Callum, I got the DNA splicers. This is my team. What do you think? And I'm just like, you're asking, this is a loaded question. There's so much to consider right now. Most of the time I would say don't do it. But if you see a combo like that, where you can get Solar Beam, Chlorophyll, Drought in one Pokemon, I mean, you're not going to say no to that. Dynamax Band. See, I'm inclined, if you've got the Pokemon, like Dynamax Band can show up even if you don't have a Pokemon that can Dynamax. Same goes for the Mega Bracelet. I'm inclined to say always pick it up because you never know if you will pick up a Pokemon that can Dynamax unless you're like, okay, I've got my team of 6, I'm not going to bother. But even if you don't think you're going to take a Dynamax Pokemon, I would say always pick it up just so you don't see it again. Like, let's say you're trying to get the Mega Bracelet and you get the Dynamax Band and you ignore it. The Dynamax Band remains in the pool of items you could get. So personally, I would pick it up just so it's out of the way. And, who knows, maybe you'll come across a Snorlax and you'll be like, ooh, Gmax Snorlax goes crazy on this team. That's just my thinking about it. I would say to always pick it up though. Maybe not over an amulet coin. It depends. If I'm using a Dynamax Pokemon, then yes, always over an amulet coin. But if I'm not, then Enigma Berry, I believe this is. Enigma Berry, I believe in PokeRogue. Yeah, it restores 1/4 of your health if you're hit with a super effective hit. I would say that is a great item. I really like the Enigma Berry. I like building a really like bulky Crocodile and then like, taking a hit and getting some, a little bit healing. It's especially good on Pokemon that can't really heal themselves. Yeah, Enigma Berry is just good. You hit the super effective move, you heal like What's not to love about that? I feel like for ether and elixir and full heal, full restore, things like of this nature, they're all situational. Most of the time I'm spending money on things, but like if I'm trying to save money, then obviously I'll just pick it up from the one of the three options if I've got nothing better. But items like that, there's not really much to say. Like, yeah, they can heal your Pokemon, yada yada yada. They're all situational though. Like obviously a full restore is a great item. No one's denying that. I wouldn't always pick it up though if my entire team's at full health. So for those items, I'll just put them into situational. Like that's all it is to it. Next we have the EXP balance, EXP charm, and EXP share. So EXP balance is a funny one. Everybody swears that it's a terrible item. I passionately disagree. I mean, mostly for endless, people talk about it being a terrible item. EXP share, I would say always pick up. I think levels are rough earlier on. So if you get some EXP shares early, you should be cruising. Later on, it's not as important, but I would say most of the time you're going to want to pick this up. Between an EXP share and a voucher, I don't know. I guess it depends. If I'm really trying to win a run and I'm really struggling for levels and I see an EXP share, I might take it over the voucher. I might. It just depends on my mood that day. EXP charm just makes it so you gain more EXP. Like, again, EXP is always a good thing. I would say always pick it up. It depends as well, of course. If you're struggling for money, maybe the nugget might be a bit more valuable. Say you've already got some EXP charms, you need money, you're going to pick up the nugget. Like, all of these items you could say are situational. Yeah. And then EXP balance. Everybody swears this item's terrible. I personally, especially for a classic mode, I quite like it because the way I play classic mode is I will lead with 1 or 2 Pokemon for the first like 50 to 60 floors. And just those will be like way over leveled the other Pokemon. And if I get an EXP balance, it will help balance things out. And I like that because it means I can balance things out without really doing much work at all. I'm inclined to say that it's a great item. I'm not always going to pick it up. It really depends on the situation, but I think it's a great item. Next up is the Focus Band. Focus Band is a good item. Basically, if you give it to a Pokemon, I think it gives them like a 10% chance of just living any hit from like I think it's just any hit. I don't know if it even has to be from full HP. Just gives them a chance of living any hit. It can stack, I think, as well a few times. I mean, obviously that's a great item. I mean, it's better than a berry. Yeah, I'd probably put it right there. I would I've definitely picked it up and actually had use out of it. Funnily enough, I'm gonna put Great Ball in situational. We have another berry here, the Ganlon berry. I need to give myself more credit. I looked at that and I thought Ganlon. Yeah, it's the same boat as the last berry. It doesn't hurt to have it. It raises defense if you're at low enough health. Golden Punch. I'm always picking up the Golden Punch. I would probably put it like up top because it gives you money. I think it's 50% of the damage you do to the opponent turns into money. So I think if you do like 100 health, you get 50 money. And like if you're using that on like a Carrymon, you'll get like a decent, every little helps. You get a decent chunk of money. Grip Claw, decent item. Basically gives you, I think it's a 10% chance to steal any item from the opponent. It can be very useful, especially if you stack it. I'm trying to think if I would say to always pick it up. I mean, I think most of the time there's no reason not to, because you're not going to be like faced with like, most of the time you shouldn't be faced with like Grip Claw versus Golden Punch versus Egg Voucher, but things like that can happen. I would say it's better than the Berry Pouch. I just don't want to put too many things in S tier, It's definitely a great item. It's not guaranteed to get steal items from the opponents, but it can, and it's very helpful. The Healing Charm, again, basically increases the amount of health that you gain from like potions and stuff. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it gives you kind of like a buff to healing items, so like you can spend less money on them. I would say that is a great item. King's Rock, it makes them have a chance to flinch. I think that kind of in the same sort of boat as the Focus Band. Like it's definitely a good item, but it's just a chance. Leftovers, honestly, because you can stack them. I had like an Araquanid run with like, I think my Araquanid had 2 leftovers. That Araquanid was crazy. Like I would literally protect and gain so much health back. But that's so rare. I've never had that since. Leftovers are always a good item though. I don't know if I'd say to always pick it up. It depends what else is there. I think I like them more than the candy jar. I maybe pick leftovers over the berry pouch. I mean, yeah, I think I'd maybe put it like between these two. I think I'll put it up the top of great item. Leftovers, like, they can go a long way. Next up is the Landsat Berry, which I apparently also knew the name of, but I just doubted myself, so I double checked. Raises the holder's critical hit ratio by 2 stages when your HP drops to 1/4. I think it's an item that just can't hurt to pick up sometimes. That could be a pretty good strategy item though. So the way critical hits work, critical hits get there's 4 stages. There's stage 0, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. That's the stages of critical hits. Stage 0 is the blanket critical hit chance. Stage 1, I don't remember what the chance is. It's something like, I think stage 1 of critical hits is like 12.5% or something like that. And then stage 2 jumps immediately to 50%. So if you have a Pokemon that's went down to 1/4 of its health holding the Landsat Berry and it's got a critical hit raised to stage 2, you're getting 50% chances to crit. Pair that with a move like Night Slash that has a high crit ratio. I believe that is like, I think that's 100% chance to crit. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Doesn't hurt to pick up. I mean, honestly, my thing is like, how often are you gonna get like a fast Pokemon that can abuse crits down to 1/4 of health? It's definitely a good item, but like, I don't think it's an item that people are necessarily going to be like looking out for most of the time, and then get more so just doesn't hurt to pick it up. It's not something you're going to be strategizing around necessarily. Now Leppa Berries. Leppa Berries are situational. Leppa Berries are great because if you run out of PP, if you got like a 5 PP move and you use it a lot, Leppa Berry will heal that. But if you're going into an Eternatus fight with Leppa Berries, Eternatus will steal it and will get recover back. So be careful of that. Just make sure you're managing your Leppa Berries. We've got the Lychee Berry. This is raises the holder's attack. Yeah, same thing. It doesn't hurt to pick it up. The Lock Capsule. I mean, I'm inclined to say always pick it up because it's an incredibly rare item and you'll probably not come across it again if you don't pick it up. Maybe even more so than the Amulet Coin. This basically allows you to, so let's say you get like a good roll of items, you get like super rare items, but they're not items that you particularly want. You can lock them in place and then re-roll them, and you will get more items with that rarity. This item is necessary and endless. In classic mode, I've gotten it before and it's not really made a huge difference because when you use the lock capsule, it does make the items more expensive to re-roll, so you're like very limited on what you can do with it. But it doesn't hurt to just like pick it up just in case. You can use it, unless of course the lock capsule shows up with the Dynamax band and you're like, man, this entire run is hinging on me using the Dynamax band. And obviously pick up the Dynamax band. Next up is the Lumberry, I believe. Yes, it's the Lumberry. Lumberry can heal any status condition. Doesn't hurt to pick it up. I mean, most of the time for me personally, I'm not going out my way to pick up berries. Berries are like one of the last things I consider. You know, usually I've got another agenda. Usually like my Pokemon's low health, so I'll maybe like, okay, I need to pick up a potion before I pick up a Lumberry, but Lumberry doesn't hurt. Now we have lures. This is an interesting one. I just saw Relic Gold. Let me put Relic Gold up here. Relic Gold. Oh, hold on. Relic Gold needs to that goes to the top of the food chain, I think, honestly. I mean, it depends where you are in the game. If you're at the start of the game, Relic Gold might not give you that much money. But if you're like late game, Relic Gold goes crazy. I'll put Relic Gold here. It's like between here. Sorry, I got distracted. Lure. So something like a lure basically just gets you more battles and more encounters. I can't quite remember how it works in terms of EXP. I'm pretty sure you would get more EXP because you're killing more Pokemon. But yeah, I like it because it gets you more encounters. So like I would pick up a lure if I'm doing like a mono type run and I'm in the area where I'm trying to catch Pokemon of that type. Say I'm doing a fairy run, I'm in Fairy Cave. I would pick up a lure to try and find more fairy type Pokemon to potentially catch. It just raises your chances of getting a Pokemon that you want, and that's always a good thing in that regard. It's situational though, because you know, if you do get double battles and you don't want double battles, then you know. But I mean, overall I would say it's a great item. I think I would maybe prioritize it about this much, maybe. Depends what I'm doing, obviously. Now something like the magnet, I think this is more just meant to be a representation of all the type boosting items. So these items give you 1.1 times power on your moves of that type. So this is magnet, this is for electric types. This item is only going to show up if a Pokemon in your party has an electric type move. If you don't have an electric type move somewhere, it's not going to show up. There's been times where I think I was doing like mono fire or something. Oh no, it was mono electric, and I think like the charcoal showed up, and I was like, who the hell has a fire type move? And someone actually did have a fire type move. It was one Pokemon had like one fire move. Something to that. I can't remember exactly if it was the charcoal or not, but you get the point. I would say always pick it up situationally, of course. If your move that it's trying, if you're using, if you get like the never melt ice, and it's on a Pokemon you don't really like, the only ice moves on a Pokemon you don't really care about, or you planned on getting rid of it, then obviously like not great. But these items, they can stack and they boost the power of the type of that move a decent amount. I think it's 1.1 times in this game, or no, it's 1.2 times actually. It's 1.2 times, I believe. 20% boost increase to that type of move, which is a lot. It can really add up, and I found Pokemon of mine just tearing through teams, like not very effective, because I'm holding like 3 of those items, and they show up a decent amount too. I've definitely managed to stack them quite a few times on one Pokemon, so I would say for the most part always pick them up. But if it's of a type that you don't really use, then you know, and there's a better item, then pass up on it. But I think most of the time they're always good to have. The map, you could say situational. Me personally, I've been doing a lot of monotype runs lately, so the map is kind of like essential for me to get like Pokemon that I actually want. I would say personally to always pick up the map and choose where you want to go. I would personally probably place the map's importance about here, maybe even above Dynamaxing. I mean, I think it's a bit more common than Dynamaxing though, which is what's tough. It really just depends. I mean, if I'm not using Dynamax Pokemon, then obviously I'm going to pick up the map over Dynamaxing. I think the map is a very good item. It allows you to steer away. You know, say you're fighting gym leaders every 30 floors. It allows you to like choose kind of, in a way, which gym leader you face. Like it's like, oh, you want to go to Power Plant or you want to go Construction? You know, if you know that the next 10 floors you have to face a gym leader, that could save your run, because you could be facing Lieutenant Surge, or you could be facing I think Construction is fighting type gym leaders, I can't quite remember, and you're like, okay, well my team does terribly against fighting types, so I'm going to go to the Power Plant. I think that's always good to have. Max lure, honestly the same thing as the regular lure. We've got Gmax mushrooms. Of course, these are only going to be showing up if you actually have a Pokemon, if you've got the Dynamax gland, and if you have a Pokemon that can Dynamax. I don't even know if these even need to be on here, because like if you picked up the Dynamax band and then you get Gmax mushroom, like yes, you're going to pick that up. I mean, like I think you're always going to pick that up. You're going to see those mushrooms and you're going to be like you know, I don't even know if this needs to be on this list. You know, obviously if it's like evolution stones, there's the link cable and stuff like that down here. It's like, yeah, if you have a Pokemon that evolves by link cable, you're always going to want to pick that up and evolve it, right? Master Ball, I'm inclined to say always pick it up. It depends, obviously, again, what's here. You know, say this versus the Master Ball versus the Amulet Coin, I'm probably more likely going to pick up the Amulet Coin. But I think they have raised the chances. If you've got like a decent amount of shinies with you, I think they've raised the chances of you finding like legendaries and stuff in classic mode. So I think having a Master Ball, it's a good thing. It can help you catch a legendary mid-run, and if all else fails, you can catch Paradox Pokemon that you already own. You can catch Paradox Pokemon from floors 190 to 200 with a Master Ball, as long as, of course, you already own them. So that's always a good thing too. It's always nice, even if you're not going to use the Paradox Pokemon. I think I caught Iron Hands the other day during a Mono Electric attempt. I didn't end up adding it to my team. I just caught it for candy because I had a Master Ball. Yeah. Always a good thing, I would say, for the most part. Mega Bracelet, same sort of scenario as Dynamax Band, maybe a bit more, because I think Mega Evolution is maybe a little bit better than Dynamaxing, but they're kind of the same thing, honestly. They're one and the same. It's the same sort of deal. If you are trying to Mega Evolve your Pokemon, pick up the Mega Bracelet. If you're not trying to Mega Evolve your Pokemon, pick up the Mega Bracelet just so you don't see it again. But if you're not trying to do Dynamaxing or Mega Evolution, you can honestly just ignore them both. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I've never seen this in Classic Mode. It's the black hole that Eternatus holds. You can get it. Basically, if you give it to a Pokemon, every turn you will steal an item. It's an incredibly good item. Like, no doubt. I've never seen it in Classic Mode. I don't know how good in Classic Mode it would be. I can only imagine it would be absolutely broken. Mints. We're looking at mints now. This is no mint in particular. I'm just going to say it's an adamant mint. Could be a modest mint, could be a timid mint. Mints in general are great items. In PokeRogue, natures aren't as important because I don't believe there's like EVs or anything like that. In Pokemon Emerald Rogue, if you have an adamant nature and you have EVs turned on, the EVs are going to mostly be put into attack, and then the rest of the stats, it's going to be kind of like distributed a little bit between the rest of the stats, but mostly it's going to be going into attack. So let's say you have a physical attacker that's modest, they're going to be getting no EVs in their physical attack, all in special attack, and that's a bad thing. But for PokeRogue, I wouldn't say they're as important. I personally am a big fan of having the right nature though, because it can make a difference. Like it's kind of like similar to you know, the magnet in the way where it just boosts your power or boosts your speed or boosts your defenses depending on what nature you're going for. I would always say look up, you know, say you come across a Boldment, look up what a Boldment does. It raises defense, lowers attack. If you have a bulky Pokemon that doesn't really have a nature, that it's like maybe it's a serious nature, throw a Boldment on it as long as it's a special attacking bulky Pokemon. I think they're great items personally. I mean, me personally probably would put the Nature Mint up here. I'm a big fan of Nature Mints, but I understand for everyone else they're maybe not as important. They're really good for Pokemon that you catch throughout the run that just have terrible natures. Pokeball obviously is a situational item. Same with Rogue Ball. I mean, honestly, actually Rogue Ball, I would say always pick up, similar to Master Ball. Maybe put it down to the bottom though, because like the Master Ball, you never know when you're going to be facing like a crazy Pokemon that is going to be a pain to catch, and Rogue Balls just make Pokemon like manageable to catch, especially later on. So I think it doesn't hurt to maybe have a stack of 5 or 10 of them just in case you encounter something that you really want. But yeah, I'd say that's about a good placement for them. I do know my berries. This is a Pitaya berry. I just didn't say it out loud because I didn't want to be wrong. Special attack, yeah, it's just going to go into doesn't hurt tier. PP Max, PP Max and PP Up, great items, especially for moves like Recover that only had 5 PP, or Close Combat, or double Shock, I think is the move. Like if a move has 5 PP, Close Combat, I would PP Max it. You know, Sucker Punch only has 5 PP, I'd PP Max it. And that for that way, I would probably say I'd probably put them above the Nature Mints, to be honest. I think having PP is very important. Yeah, great items. I feel like would I prioritize it over a Grip Claw? Maybe not. It depends on the situation. If I'm like using a Pokemon that spams a 5 PP move, then yeah, I'd probably prioritize it over a Grip Claw, but it really just depends. Quick Claw. Quick Claw gives you a percentage chance, it does stack, to just randomly go first. Same sort of idea as King's Rock and Focus Band. It's a great item. Rare Candy. I maybe put Rare Candies like here, especially same with Rare Candy. I'd maybe put them like here. Maybe Rare Candy a bit higher up. Rare Candy gives you 1 level to everyone in your Pokemon in your party. You know, if you've got 3 candy jars, then it gives like 4 levels to all your Pokemon in the party. Like I can stack and get crazy, but there's only so much room to do that in Classic Mode. Reviver Seed is a situational item. For most of the run, it will be great to have a Reviver Seed, but if you have one, when you face Eternatus and he steals it, pretty sure he can use it. And you don't want... I've had that happen to me before, actually, where Eternatus has died and came back to life because he stole my Reviver Seed. So, situational, just because of Eternatus at the end. Be careful. Sacred Ash. It's a situational item. Sacred Ash basically can revive your entire team. I always just cross-reference the max revive cost versus the Sacred Ash cost. I think you start getting Sacred Ash value when... I think if 5 of your Pokemon are fainted, I think it's cheaper to just buy a Sacred Ash than it is to buy like 5 max revives. It's situational though, of course. There have been very few times where I've actually ended up using it. Salac Berry, I'm pretty sure that's just for speed. It is indeed for speed. Yeah, doesn't hurt to have it. You know, your Pokemon goes down to 1/4 of its health, you get a speed boost. Maybe you end up outspeeding the opponent now and winning the whole thing. Doesn't hurt to pick it up. IV Scanner in Classic Mode, it's a good item, sure. I don't know. It doesn't hurt. It's more just inconvenient because like if you pick it up, it's just going to constantly be asking you if you want to scan the wild Pokemon's IVs. And I just honestly, in Classic Mode, I don't really care that much about the IVs. Maybe I should. I mean, I do sometimes. If a Pokemon has a terrible nature and terrible IVs, I don't use it. I mean, I don't even want to put it in doesn't hurt because it can hurt. It can be very inconvenient to just constantly have to say, no, I don't want to scan the IVs. It's a good item, but I don't know if I'd ever really... it's not an item I would really pick up. I'll just put it in situational. I don't know what else to do with it. The Shell Bell. I believe in PokeRogue, it works the way it does in the main games. If you like hit a Pokemon you get like a percentage of the health that you dealt back. I think that just similar situation to like the focus band and stuff. I'd maybe put ahead of the focus band because healing is always nice. I'd maybe put it in front of the rare candy too. I think Shell Bell goes there. You want to put it on a Pokemon that like does a lot of damage. Shiny Charm. I mean, I'm probably always going to pick up the Shiny Charm because it will take your shiny odds from 1 in 2000 to 1 in 500, I think, roughly. I think that's the odds. I don't know, there was a weird like thing about the shiny odds. It just increases your odds a pretty significant amount. So I'm always going to pick this up over like most things, probably like about that much, maybe even over like the egg voucher. Yeah, over the golden punch, maybe even over the map. Yeah, I'll probably put it up here just because it doesn't hurt to get more shiny Pokemon. Obviously you're not, even if you get a shiny charm, you're not guaranteed to get one in your entire classic run. You get it floor 1, you might not see a single shiny Pokemon in all 200 floors. Doesn't hurt to just pick it up and see though. Even if you don't use the shiny Pokemon you find in the middle of the run. Like I found like a Blossom in the middle of my run, but I think the current Blossom that I had was better, so I ended up just catching it and just, for candies. Because if you shiny Pokemon, you catch them, you get quite a decent amount of candies. Yeah, I think they're great. Citrus Berry. Citrus berries are straightforward. I think you get 25% of your health back if you are below half, or if you put to half health, you get 25% of your health back, I believe. Straightforward item. It's a great item. Not as finicky as the other berries. It's similar to I would say it's about same as the Enigma Berry, maybe a bit better, as you don't have to rely on taking super effective damage. The Soothe Bell. Soothe Bell's nice because PokeRogue ties getting candy, which getting candy for that Pokemon allows you to do things like upgrade their passives, make it so they're cheaper to buy. You can even buy eggs. Soothe Bell makes it so that you get friendship faster, which in turn gets you candies for just using the Pokemon. So I would personally say always pick up a Soothe Bell. Maybe prioritize it like this much. If you're not using a Dynamax or a Mega, then obviously don't even worry about those items, put it above. But yeah, I would say Soothe Bell is very good, especially, mostly if you want to put it on a Pokemon that you're trying to gain candy for. Soothe Bell is a phenomenal item. Soldew. This goes hand in hand with Nature Mints. So let's say you have an Adamant Pokemon which physical attack up, special attack down, and you get the Soldew and you give it to that Pokemon and it's a physical attacker, let's say it's Hitmonchan, whatever. It's basically just going to make the effects of the adamant nature just stronger. It's just going to make the effects of the nature stronger, and it can stack, I believe, 10 times, which you're probably not going to find 10 in classic mode, but it just makes it so your natures are doing more, and that is an item I would always pick up as long as it's going on a Pokemon that can actually use the nature well. If you're using a Grimmsnarl that's modest and you only have physical attacks and you give it the Soldew, then obviously it's not going to help because you're lowering its attack. If anything, you're making your Grimmsnarl worse. So you've got to know how to apply it, but it's an item that I would probably always pick up. I would maybe prioritize it. The map is a tricky one because the map, I believe, is a decently common item. I want to pick it up as soon as I find it, but if there's a better item on the table, then I don't know. I think I'd maybe prioritize a map over a Soldew personally, but yeah, Soldew is a phenomenal item. I believe this is the Starf Berry. Am I right? It is. I believe this just raises a random stat. Yeah, randomly raises the holder's attack, defense, special attack, special defense, or speed by 2 stages when the holders. Yeah, so it's, again, it doesn't hurt to pick it up. I wouldn't rely on it for strategy though, because you've got a 1 in 6 chance, or 1 in 5 chance rather, of it being a stat you don't need your raised. Terra Crystals. For Terra Crystals you need to hold on, let me put this up here. Probably put the lures all in the same place, to be honest. The Terra Orb is going to be in the same boat as the Terra Crystals. I like terrasolizing. In PokeRogue, you get terrasolizing for 10 floors. There's been a lot of feedback to the developers that they think you should be able to hold your Terra. So if you pick up the Terra Orb and then you get a Terra type that you like, but you want to save it for a gym later, I think you should be able to hold the Terra Crystal and then unpause it, kind of like you can pause and unpause evolution. But as it stands right now in PokeRogue, if you have the Terra Orb, you then start finding random Terra Crystals. It's completely random, 1 out of 19 types, all the way up to Stellar type, which is very rare. Terra Crystal has helped me. I did, before monotype runs were introduced, I did a mono grass run, and I got the Fairy Terra Shard right on like the final 10 floors, and I gave it to Blossom, I believe, and that allowed me to cheese Eternatus with a fairy type Blossom, and I think I must have had a Ferrothorn or something, or Kartana maybe, I don't remember. I just swapped back and forth between my fairy type and my steel type to cheese Eternatus, and wouldn't have been possible because I didn't have a fairy type in my team otherwise. So I think Terra Shards, they're very situational. It's a difficult one. I like them a lot. I wouldn't say to always pick it up though. I will put it at the top of situational, mostly because people find that if they pick up the Terra Orb, then the Terra Shards start flooding their pool of items, which they don't like because they could get better items. Me personally, I'm probably always going to pick up the Terra Orb because it can be super useful, but I understand why like others wouldn't. And I would just say, yeah, it's situational. Can be very good though, because let's say you're a fire type and you get a fire type Terra Shard. All you're doing is boosting your damage output from like, you know, your stab attacks from 1.5 times damage to 2.0 times damage. So Flamethrower is going from 90 power to 180 power just by having a fire type with a Terra Fire you know, or Terrifier shard on it. So it's only for 10 floors though, obviously, but yeah, like it can be absolutely crazy. The Baton is an item it's kind of finicky. It's definitely a great item. Not an item I'm always going to pick up. I mean, I maybe put it in the same sort of level as like the King's Rock and stuff, maybe at the bottom though, personally. Basically, I just don't like that it like doesn't stay on the Pokemon. I get it, but like the whole thing with the Baton, I believe this is the Baton. Yeah, it is. The whole thing with the Baton, if you set up some stats, like say you use Quiver Dance or Shell Smash, you don't have to have Baton Pass, the move. You can just give it the Baton item, and then you just go to your Pokemon, you click on the Pokemon you want to swap to, and you say like pass with Baton, and then it will pass those stats over. It will also give the item to that Pokemon going forward, so you've got to like then go to your items and then swap it back or whatever, which I kind of find annoying, but it can definitely be a phenomenal item. It's basically like Baton Pass as an item, which is not, it's good. It's definitely good. I'm not really like a big setup Baton Pass sort of guy personally, not really a strategy I'm in love with, but it's definitely a great item. EXP charm, this one I think is like just a stronger EXP charm, like it's like 60% more EXP, like just a really solid item. I think these are just meant to be TMs, right? Yeah, electric type TM, normal type TM, water type TM. I'm just gonna put them in situational. I think what we'll maybe do is we'll maybe add a tier below and we'll just call this healing items. And these healing items are gonna be in no particular order, because obviously max revive is better than a regular revive. I'll put the Pokeballs in there too. You guys know what I mean. So in terms of your TMs, TMs will just show up randomly. TMs are sometimes the only way a certain Pokemon can learn a certain move. I wish there was a bit more of a consistent way, because like certain moves that are really good can only be taught by TM and there's no guarantee to get it, you know? They're situational. That's pretty much all there is to it. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really bad. I think they're only going to show up, obviously, if you have a Pokemon that can learn that move though. So if you see a TM that's good, a Pokemon on your team can learn that good move, so maybe consider it. Then we have the Wide Lens, I believe this is. Wide Lens is a great item. I'm gonna put it in always pick it up, mostly because I think 9 times out of 10 you are gonna have at least one attack that isn't like 100% accurate. And with the Wide Lens, it doesn't work the same way it does in the main games. In the main games, I believe it does like a 10% increase. So you know, if the move is 90% accuracy, it will take 10%, which is 9, and it will be 99% accuracy now. In this game, it just adds a flat 5%. So if a move is 90% accuracy, it will go up to 95, which, you know, you might not think is, you know, as good, but I like it a lot because it makes it simpler. I think it's 9%. It might be 10% increase. I think it's 5 though. It's a flat percentage increase rather than like, you know, it makes moves go from 90% accuracy to 95 rather than, you know, 90 to 99, which, you know, you might say is worse, but you can stack them. So, you know, in main games, you can't stack them. In the main games, you give a Pokemon a Wide Lens that has Hurricane, it goes from 70% accuracy to 77. Whereas in this game, if you give them 2 Wide Lenses, it goes from 70% accuracy to 80. I just think this is a great item because I tend to use 90 to 95% accurate moves a lot. So I always want to, you know, play rough mostly. I always want to pick up Wide Lens and just make sure that, like, you know, a move like Triple Axle is 90% accurate. You give it 2 Wide Lenses, all of a sudden you're never missing Triple Axle, which is huge. I would say always pick it up if you have a move that can miss. But I mean, I would honestly pick it up anticipating that you're going to pick up a move that can miss. So yeah, I think it's just one of those items. Let's talk about vitamins. Vitamins are incredible in this game. They just increase your Pokemon's stats, similar to like natures and soul dews. I'm gonna be picking up vitamins, maybe like over nuggets sometimes. Depends on what I need in that moment, and also depends on the vitamin. You know, if it's a vitamin for special attack and my entire team's physical attackers, I'm not gonna put it on any of my Pokemon. But yeah, there's, you know, HP up, there's protein, there's iron, there's calcium, there's carbos, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. Obviously it can be situational, but yeah, increasing your Pokemon stats is usually never a bad thing. And then hold on, let me put the Ultra Ball in this same sort of tier here. Then we have the multi-lens. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit of a hater of the multi-lens. Multi-lens is an item. God, I could make a whole video about this itself, but the multi-lens, people misunderstand the multi-lens a lot. The multi-lens basically weakens your Pokemon's attack power so that a move can be used more often. This, and you know, paired up with something like Power Up Punch, would make it so you're getting +2 attack instead of just +1, but it will weaken the power of the move. If you stack the multi-lens though, it will obviously increase the power of the move, and it will make it so you hit more times. I think it actually might, yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird one. It basically, hitting multiple times, super situational. I tried like a multi-lens Electrode and it just sucked because I was using like Charge Beam. Electrode just doesn't have enough like power behind it to like make the multi-lens a good item, unfortunately. It can be good, but I find it too situational for me personally. Most of the time I'm like pissed off that I got a rare item that was the multi-lens. I'll put it like the same sort of tier as the DNA splicers. It can be good, but like I think more often than not, it's just going to make your Pokemon worse. It's very good in endless mode, but we're talking about classic mode here. I'm trying to think of a situation where I'd want a multi-lens, and honestly, like I would maybe want a multi-lens like, someone's got an itchy ear. Maybe on a Pokemon that's not really meant to do damage. I don't really carry Pokemon like that typically, but maybe on like a bulldozing Pokemon that's job is to just drop the speed of my opponents. I don't know, like I most of the time I'm just not going to use it, like similar to the DNA splicers. It can be good though, but like, you know, use it at your own discretion. Most of the time I don't want to use the multi-lens, especially in classic mode. And then finally we have X items: X accuracy, X attack, X defense, X special attack, X special defense, X speed, and then this, I think this is like is this the guard spec or something? No, that's not the guard spec. Guard spec isn't even in here. Honestly, I don't know what this last one is. X items are phenomenal. It's situational, but I would mostly be picking them up above. Like I'm gonna pick up X items over all of the doesn't hurt items. X items, I mean, it depends, you know, obviously if it's like X defense, then I might just be like, whatever, right? I might just make this the X items tier, to be honest, because there's nothing else in here. X items are interesting. I think X items are their biggest place are at the end of a run. On those final 5 floors, the X item basically makes it so if you pick up an X item, let's say you pick up the X attack, for 5 floors, your Pokemon's physical attacks are going to be 1.5 times stronger. If you pick up 2 X items, they're going to be 2.5 times stronger. So think of it as like, if you pick up 2 X attacks, think of that as a Swords Dance on all of your Pokemon just immediately. Like you just have Swords Dance, like just for sending your Pokemon in. Like it doubles your Pokemon's attack if you have 2 of them. If you have 1, it times them by 1.5. So if your Pokemon has 100 attack, it adds 50 and it's 150. It's just maths, okay? X items, most of the time, like you're like, just even grabbing an X speed, it will, like, even if you've got fast Pokemon on your team, you never know, your opponent might have something faster. It doesn't hurt to just grab an X item most of the time. But where X items truly shine is those final 10 floors for when you're going to face your rival and for when you're going to face Eternatus. During the final 5 floors of my PokeRogue runs, I spend all the money I have remaining re-rolling, trying to get good X items. And getting good X items, mostly X Spidef, because most of Eternatus' moves are special. X defense is good though, because he does have cross poison. X accuracy is nice because it will increase your accuracy and make it so you can land, you know, heavy moves that are low accuracy better. X attack, you're going to be doing more physical damage. X special attack, it's going to be good. X speed is probably, like, it's decent against Eternatus, but I would be prioritizing the others. I'd be prioritizing the Spidef, defense, special attack, physical attack. Those are like the ones I'd be prioritizing, those last 5 floors. I'm going to be re-rolling, using all the money I've collected throughout my run on the last final floors to try and collect as many X items as I can. I cannot express enough how good X items are. They are phenomenal for mostly for the last final floors, but they're good throughout the entire game. Oh wait, this is the crit X item. If you pick up two of those, you have a 50% chance to crit all the time. Like, it's crazy. X items do not underestimate them. Yeah, they only last for 5 floors. That sucks, but like, it's because they're so good. They are genuinely so good. Depending on the situation, I would pick up an X item over like a magnet, or like, yeah, maybe over like a big nugget. It really just depends on the situation. If I'm on like floor 140 and I see an X speed or an X attack, I'm like, all right, my rival's in for some hands. We're gonna pick up this X attack and I'm gonna go crazy, you know? Like, I need to just do damage. It basically puts you on more of a level playing field with, like, you know, the rivals Rayquaza or Eternatus. You know, it just makes you a bit stronger, and it's definitely good strategy in my opinion to pick them up, especially on those final 10 floors. Pick up any X items you can get your grubby little paws on. So yeah, they're a bit hard to place because like it's situational, you know. Like, if I see an X item or a berry, even if it's like a random X Spadef, I'm probably just gonna pick up the X Spadef. You know, it doesn't hurt to just take special hits a little bit better. It might save a Pokemon. But yeah, that is my tier list. I'm pretty happy with this, I would say. This is my tier list of items to pick up in PokeRogue. I hope I was thorough enough and explained. Anything I missed would be stuff like Zacian. If you have a Zacian, you have a chance of finding Zacian's item to give it the crown form or whatever. Same with Ogerpon, the Cornerstone Mask. If there is an item related to that Pokemon, there will be a chance that it'll be found during your PokeRogue run. And obviously, you're going to want to pick up that item if you find it. The only time you wouldn't is if like you're using like Ogerpon and you don't find the mask that you want. Although I think you could maybe swap the mask around and like, I don't know, I've not used Ogerpon before, but yeah. Let me know what you think of the tier list. Let me know if I missed any items. Anything I missed will probably be in a pinned comment. I can maybe give you, you know, if I missed an item, I can be like, oh, I put this item in D tier or whatever, because blah, 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 if I missed anything. But I'm pretty sure we covered most of the basis. I don't know how useful this tier list is going to be at this point. You know, PokeRogue's been out for a long time now. People have already done item tier lists. I just wanted to sit down and give my 2 cents. I think I maybe have a different way of playing the game than some other people. This is just how I like playing though. This is definitely the order of like priority I would kind of go in. It's all of it at the end of the day is situational though. And yeah, like I said, new big huge long video that I'm working on coming out soon. I've just got to finish editing it. It's just taking a little bit. So thank you for your patience with me in the meantime, and thank you for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, let me know by leaving a fire emoji in the comments. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.